I do just want to say that Dr. Amen has been with us from the very beginning, day one. The Washington Post states him as the most popular psychiatrist in the world. Is that crazy? The most popular psychiatrist in the world. And then we get to know and love him at the Daniel Plan as a Saddleback member, a founding doctor, and just has been a true friend to our entire team, our congregation. So another round of applause, Dr. Amen.
Thank you. So my job for the next few minutes is to help you stay focused, because that's one of the really important parts of the Daniel Plan. Let's see if I can get this to work. Come on. No. Please help me. It's fighting with me. All right. So we're going to talk about the science of self-control, because that's really the thing that gets you out of trouble. It gets you in trouble, right? Is that your cravings get you, and then you start making bad decisions. So it's really the quality of your decisions that determine whether or not this is going to be successful for you. So the first thing is know your motivation. Why do you care? It's critical. You actually want to write it down. Why do I want to succeed on the Daniel Plan? For me, it's really clear. I have a family I love. Love my wife, my 4 kids, and I am having so much fun with my 5 grandchildren. But you know, so I've been a psychiatrist for 30 years. I have seen a lot of people who've not taken care of themselves become burdens on their children. And I never want to be a burden to my children. But that means you have to use the big brain God gave you to think out 10, 20, 30 years and go, how do I want to be then? So on the handout that we gave you, I'd actually like you to start writing it down. While you're here today, what are 5 reasons why you must be healthy? So some of mine are to have great energy, because I believe what we're doing in the Daniel Plan and what we do at Amen Clinics is really important. So I need to have great energy. And I'm totally vain. My face has been seen all across North America, like hundreds of thousands of times on public television. So I want to look good. I don't know. I like being in the same jeans I was in when I was 18. I mean, you know, some of my more spiritual friends will say that's vain, but I like it. And I want to be able to make great decisions. Why? I'm the CEO of a company. I'm a husband and a father and a grandfather. I'm part of this brain trust to create the Daniel Plan. I need my brain working right. And those that were here this morning or last night heard me say, as your weight goes up, the size and function of your brain goes down. Oh my goodness. I read that first study and I lost 25 pounds. I was so horrified. I want you to be horrified too. The fat on your body is not your friend. So the fat in the food we just make, that's your friend. But big belly, do you know what? Is anybody besides me bothered by all the pregnant men in our society? I'm like, dude, deliver the baby. Belly fat, what belly fat does is it turns healthy testosterone that makes you virile and strong and turns it into unhealthy forms of estrogen that increase your risk for cancer. And it's a bad thing. I want to be a great role model. Now you go, well, you know, you have to be because you're on TV, and yes, it's true. I'll go over to Mother's Market and people recognize me and they'll look in my shopping cart. It's so irritating. But what's more important to me is at the 11 o'clock service, Liam was here, who's my 2-year-old grandson, who I adore. I want to be a good role model for him, because then you can begin to see how that has eternal value. Because as Liam grows up in a healthy environment, he is going to raise his children in a healthy environment, and you see how it gets passed on. Your habits, I hate to break it to you, they're not about you. They're really about generations of you, and people are watching you. And then, of course, I want to avoid the dinosaur syndrome, big body, little brain. Also, as you write down the 5 reasons why you must get healthy, I want you to pick one image on why you must be healthy. What one image reminds you immediately? Did you know your brain is 50% visual? 50% of your brain is dedicated to vision. So immediately, what's that image? And this is Emmy on the screen. If you put up Emmy. Emmy is my 2-year-old granddaughter who, when she was 5 months old, started to have wicked seizures. In fact, in one day, she had 160 seizures, and it horrified me. And immediately, I'm on the phone, I'm helping figure out what's going on, and on a very special diet, she has been seizure-free for about 18 months. And I'm so excited about that. So, food is medicine, or food is poison. But I know if I keep my brain in good shape, that Emmy is gonna have a much better life. And so when I think of the brownies or the chips or a cheeseburger, I'm like, do I need that? Because what I really need is good brain function so I can be a good grandfather. Does that make sense? So whatever that image is for you, you want to post it where you can see it every day. There's also a very interesting exercise. I talk about this in the book. I call it the fork in the road. I want you to vividly imagine a future of bad habits. So if you just go with the bad habits that you've had, what is your future going to look like? And the science says you're going to have decreased mental capacity, and that you're not going to be well, and your brain will be smaller, and you'll look older, and you won't make as much money, and your relationships won't be good, and you'll be always tired. But I want you to focus on that. Too often, you know, I thought when I was going to be a psychiatrist, my job was to, like, lower your anxiety, you know, like teach you meditation and hypnosis, let's all chill out. And then I realized that's not my job at all. My job for a lot of my patients is to give them more anxiety so they'll actually do what I ask them to do. And then after you go down the left side of that fork, I want you to go down the right side and imagine in vivid detail a believable future of health. So if you do the 5 pillars of the Daniel plan, I want you to use your mind and focus on what's life going to be like 10 days from now. Because as Dr. Hyman said, it doesn't take long. But then what will my life be like 6 months from now, a year from now? One of our guys, his name is Steve, was 640 pounds when he started the program. In 4 months, he lost 160 pounds. And today, he is down 400 pounds. You can do this. None of it's hard. Being sick is hard. I want you to always protect your decision-making ability. So, you want to make good decisions, know why you care, you have to stabilize your blood sugar. So when we had these great shakes to start the day, stabilizing blood sugar, protein in the morning. A protein shake, that's how I start virtually every day. So, and then you have to eat. So I eat, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a day. But for me, it's calorie smart and it's whole high quality food. And you gotta sleep. If you're not sleeping, you need to see that as a problem and start sleeping. And then I want you to check your important numbers like vitamin D. Low vitamin D levels, the hormone leptin that tells you to stop eating doesn't work. So optimize your vitamin D level. Eat fish at least once a week. Take fish oil. I'm a big believer. I hate alcohol. I'm not at all with those people who go, I should be drinking 2 drinks a day. That's good for my heart. Yes, people who do that have a smaller brain. And when it comes to the brain, size matters. And then you want to stop lying to yourself. We'll talk about that, but very briefly. And then I want you to remember these 2 words. These are the most important words in the English language when it comes to your health. Then what? If I do this, then what happens? If I eat this, then what happens? If I stay up too late, then what happens? So, I don't have time to go through all of these, but I'm going to give you an exercise that has been found to be as effective as antidepressant medication. Whenever you feel sad, mad, nervous, or out of control, write down what you're thinking. And then talk back to it, just like you were a teenager talking back to your moms. How you think dramatically affects how you feel in every decision you make. So some of the little lies, some of you act like you're 4 years old. I don't want to deprive myself. And so you have a little tantrum, and then you have the 3rd bowl of ice cream. Use your big brain that God gave you. If you do that, you're depriving yourself of what you really want most, which is your good health. I can't eat healthy because I travel, which is total nonsense. Mark and I travel more than any of you, and we just plan. We use the front part of our brain that is involved with planning. Or my whole family is overweight. It's in my genes. I hate to break it to you, but only about 20 to 30% of your health has to do with your genes. The rest is your behavior. Or I can't afford to get healthy. Being sick is always more expensive than getting healthy. I can't find time to work out, except if you work out, you'll actually be sharper and it will save you time. Or I love this one, it's Easter, Memorial Day, July 4th, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. There is always an excuse to hurt yourself. At the Amen Clinics, we started our first weight loss group December 1st. It was called Lose Weight Through the Holidays. The week of Christmas, we had an average weight loss of 2.5 pounds. It's just focus. Why am I going to gorge so that I have to suffer in January? That is not the sign of a big brain. One of the most important things, and Pastor Warren's just such a great example of this, it's failure is never fatal unless you stop trying. So I draw this diagram for my patients all the time. I said, look, you do the things that we ask you on the Daniel Plan, you'll get better. But nobody just gets better. It's up, and then it's back, and then it's up, and then it's back. And what we want you to do is turn bad days into good information. I want you to be the scientist and the subject. So as he had a setback, he's like, well, I don't want that. So it's like, oh, we're writing the book about that. Got back on, dropped 35 pounds. So if this is like your 15th go at getting well, it's like, it only took me about 30 times. You know, it's the dinosaur thing that got me. I don't know what'll get you, but you just keep working it until you get it right. So don't think of mistakes as you failed. Just, it's, you know, what does your GPS say? Make the next legal U-turn. You know, one of the things that really gets after people is untreated brain issues. If you have things like ADD, anxiety, depression, addictions, and grief. But these are all treatable disorders, and what we've discovered is many of them don't need medication. What they need are the strategies we lay out in the Daniel Plan. You know, Rick talks about it's great for physical health, and I nudge him and I go, it's the same plan for mental health. And so I just want to finish with this story. This is Sammy, 12 years old, and Chris, her mom. And Sammy died when she was 12 of bone cancer. And her mom experienced such horrible grief that she just literally went to bed and ate and drank herself. And on the 2-year anniversary of Sammy's death, Chris decided she was going to kill herself. And she had it planned out. And the night before, she was watching public television and saw me on public television. And she thought, well, I'm going to get Dr. Amen's book. And if it's a bad book, I'll kill myself tomorrow. And she's telling me this, and I'm horrified. But she said, and this, I love what she said. She said, I'm a really good student. And she said, I'm just going to do everything that you said. And so she stopped drinking, stopped the bad food, started walking. And within 8 days, she lost her craving. She started to sleep. When she woke up in the morning, she was not waking up in a panic. And then I met her 10 weeks later, where she was down 24 pounds, but she's happy because she's doing the right things. So this is where she was a year later. So, and what Chris has asked me to tell you is to never let grief be your excuse to hurt yourself. You always want to do the right things if you love the biggest gift that God's given you, which is your mind and body. Thank you so much.